really, nobody does know where we're going to end up. And I am so thankful that you guys have ended up on this video or this podcast, the Let's Talk About It podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here. My name's Alyssa. I am the host of this podcast. And I'm so excited to be here and to be able to film this and talk for you guys. I feel like it's just my life has been so busy. I've been a full-time student for a very long time, and now I'm finally not. So I feel like I have a lot of time on my hands, and what better to do than pick up a new hobby? I love talking about all topics. I'm really an open book. I will talk about anything and everything with anyone. So I'm so excited to be talking to you guys about some of my favorite things that interest me, and hopefully in the future, I will be able to have some special guests, some friends to talk about things with. But today we are going to be talking about the subject at hand, which is I have met now, checked off the bucket list. I have met some of the cast from Grey's Anatomy and Station 19 this past summer, which was such an experience, literally life-changing in my opinion. And let's get into it. Let's talk about why, because let me just preface, look at this sweater. This is what my choice is. The sweater is like 10 plus years old. It says, you can't really see it. It says I Heart Grey's Anatomy. I've had this sweater for so long. I actually won it online because there's something I know many of you, if you're watching, know called stan culture. Stan culture is like you're a part of a fandom, a fan of something. It could be literally anything. There's probably people online talking about it as a group, as a community. And Grey's Anatomy is one of those things that I have actually just been a part of, like for my whole adolescence, I'm telling you, just because circumstances. So it's just, that's what I've honestly grown up with. Grey's Anatomy has been like one of my favorite shows. Literally, I can't think of another show or thing like that I love more than Grey's Anatomy as a show, as a media outlets. I think it was like and it still is. It's a great show, created by great writers, and I love the storylines that they have had on it. So I've been a huge fan. Specifically, personally, my favorite actors and characters on the show were Jessica Capshaw playing Arizona Robbins and Sara Ramirez playing Calliope Torres. Those were my favorite characters growing up for sure. I really resonated with their storyline. I think it's like so cute, but also so devastating. So I'm going to get into today how I actually met mainly Jessica Capshaw, but I also met stars such as Camilla Luddington, Katerina Scorsone, Katie Strickland, and Stefania Spampinato, of course. And I didn't actually meet like face-to-face Danielle Savory, but I did see a lot of her panels, and we were in the same space. So I'm just going to be talking about that today and my process of actually getting to go to Paris, how I found out about this convention, my experience. And yeah, I'm really excited. Let's get into it. This is actually, just so you guys know, my second time filming this. The first one, I just wasn't feeling it. I think I was really nervous at first. Guys, I have social anxiety, okay? Like the first one I was kind of nervous at first. Now I'm okay. But that's why the lighting's kind of dark right now. My face is a little shadowy, but hopefully next episode we can go with the first take. But today I did have Red Bull earlier. Now I've switched to wine, cold wine, because it's now late at night. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about my experience meeting the cast of Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. Listen, let me just give something for information. Not everyone knows. I don't know who's listening to this, but in short, a lot of fans, they group on social media like Twitter, like Instagram, and Tumblr. That's usually where people kind of post things. We can go into a whole other podcast talking about just stan culture, and I will, just not today, but regardless, I have been a part of Twitter, the online community, for a while, literally in the shadows. Like I don't show my face. Like I've been just a lurker. Like I just scroll. Like I just love seeing people's content and tweets. I don't know, it's funny, it's fun, whatever. So I really haven't been a part of things, especially I think now, the fans I've been a part of, it was really different because the couple that I love to watch on the show aren't together anymore. So things have really changed. However, there's a lot of new fans for the Karina and Maya relationship. They're called Marina, and there's a lot of new fans on Twitter for that couple, which I love. It's so cool to see that like things are just like getting alive again. It's really cool. Anyways, so there's this convention. It's called the First Responders Reunion. And they announced in October 2022, that this conventioning is happening June 3rd and 4th of June 2023. So this is October 2022, and they announced that Stefania Spampinato who's Karina DeLuca, is going to be there. So people are freaking out. I'm not really noticing at this point. I'm not on Twitter really at this point a lot because I'm in school. I don't talk to anyone, so it's not like I have friendships to maintain on this app. So it's like I'm just kind of like, sometimes I'll be looking and it's like whatever. I didn't really care that much. Besides the point, time goes on. And just so you guys know, like I'm a huge fan of Jessica Capshaw, even though she's not on the show anymore. I love her as a actress and I love the work she does. So I've been keeping up with her, but not, anyways, let's get into it. So May 2nd, the Twitter account for the First Responders Reunion announces that Camilla Luddington is going to this convention in France. And for those that know, Camilla Luddington and Jessica Capshaw are really good friends. Like they're best friends. So people now are thinking and tweeting and rumors are starting that, oh my God, Jessica Capshaw is going to go to this reunion. I'm reading this on my phone and I'm like, hey, I don't think so. Like Jessica hasn't really been a part of, well, she hasn't since 2018. Since she left the show, she actually hasn't been a part of the Grey's verse at all. She doesn't really interact with anyone, and like she's not on social media. So like I'm like, there's no way Jessica's gonna go to this. Why would she go to this? She's not on the show anymore. Okay, so like that's my thinking. However, they're saying that there's the First Responders Reunion on Twitter. They are announcing each guest as they go, and like this is May, so this is a month away, and they're still announcing guests. And there's one more guest that they're like hinting who's it gonna be, who's the last person. They already gave the hints that the person's from Grey's Anatomy. It's a woman, and like people are guessing, and I'm like, okay, okay. So I have a dream. Like I have a dream on May 7th that I met Jessica Capshaw. Crazy, right? Don't know where that, because obviously had been reading. It was a rumor. I had a dream that I met Jessica Capshaw and I had no idea what I was saying. And then I woke up and I'm like, wow. Anyways, that was May 7th. May 9th, Jessica Capshaw is announced to go to Paris, France. Guys, I don't know how I was literally like jaw on the ground. I'm like, what? She has nothing to like do with Grey's Anatomy. And I'm like, oh my God, Jessica Capshaw, who literally like she's rarely out at things unless it's for like her projects. She doesn't post on social media. I'm like, she's going to be in person at this convention. I have to go. Guys, I am Jessica Capshaw. Like I'm a huge fan of Jessica Capshaw. Jessica Capshaw to me is what for some of you is your Taylor Swift, your Justin Bieber, your The Weeknd, your Adele. That's Jessica Capshaw for me. And I'm like, this girl never goes out in public, I swear. I'm like, I have to meet her. I just graduated at this point. I'm done school. I don't have any like responsibilities. I'm like, I have a budget to do that. Like I have to go. So guys, I booked tickets. Let me tell you, May 9th, she was announced. It took me I'm going to put like a little calendar. It took me about a week. So I'd say May 16th is when I booked my flight. It took me about a week to like convince myself and to convince others, like my friends and family, that I should go, even though this is very short notice. It's less than a month away. I'm like, you know what? This is going to make me so happy. I've been wanting, like, this is my idol, literally. I'm like, I need to meet her. And this is going to make me the happiest person in the world. And I have no regrets. And I will have no regrets. So, anyways, I convinced myself and others that I should go. A week later, I booked my ticket to Paris, France. I booked my actual like convention tickets, and then I booked my hotel. And I'm like, here we go. I'm gonna meet Jessica Capshaw. And literally, a time from May 16th to the convention, which was literally like 2 weeks away. I had 2 weeks basically to prepare to go to Paris, France to meet the people that literally like altered my brain chemistry for real. So like I was over the moon excited. And I was able to prepare, again, I had no responsibilities at this point. So I was like, I'm going, I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. We're going to Paris, okay? It was very, not stressful, but I was very like overwhelmed by the amount of choices as what you can pick at the convention. I've never been to any convention. Like the only thing I'm really fan of is Grey's Anatomy. So I've never been to a convention for anything else. And so when the Twitter people for first responders put out the schedule, I'm like, okay, I'm going to book my extras, like the photo shoots, the autographs, around the panel stuff, because I want to see the panels because first of all, it's free. Why wouldn't I want to see that if they're going to be there? Like Jessica, Camilla, and like Stefania and Dan. I'm like, why wouldn't I go to that? So I scheduled my extras around the panels because I knew I wanted to go to that. And luckily, it all worked out for me. And yeah, so here I am. Like, I had no time to prepare, really. It was very rushed. I wanted to also make friendship bracelets, which I was able to the night before I left my flight. So I made like 25 friendship bracelets because I'm like, I need to talk to people as well, right? So yeah, so for anyone who might like have anxiety about going to a convention, my two things that I did so I could like go up and talk to people and have something to talk about was the friendship bracelets. Great idea. And second, I wanted to make that TikTok where it's like you have sunglasses and you get people to pose and it's like, anyways, I'll put it there. I wanted to do that. And so those are my two things that were, I'm like, hey, this will get me to talk to people, whatever. So anyways, now we're going to Paris, France. Time has gone so fast. I'm like, so excited. Can't believe this is happening. And as I posted at this time saying I'm going to the convention on my Twitter, and now kind of people are saying, oh my God, I'm going to be there too. So now I'm kind of getting like a feel for who's going to be there, trying to see who's going to be around me, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to the first day of the convention. Well, I'll just say the night before because this is when things really started to happen for me and I'm so excited it did. So this was the Friday. You were able to go to the convention to pick up your badge and all your stuff for the next day. I did not expect the lineup there at all. It was literally out the door and around the corner. I got into line and I'm like, oh my God, this is wild. And at this time, I actually met Emily, a gem, literally couldn't, like, this girl is so warm and welcoming. I had messaged her on Twitter and I was like, I'm gonna be there. Oh, we had figured out that we were gonna be at the same hotel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at the convention center picking up my badge. She said the same. We met up. Next thing I know, I'm literally talking to like 10 other people in the line. I'm talking to Emily, I'm talking to Meg, I'm talking to Joda, Leah, Chloe, like so many people, Amandine, like Kiki, like all these people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I slightly recognize all of your guys' icons and your usernames. I'm like, and now I'm learning so much about them by just standing in line. People are already starting to trade friendship bracelets. It was such a warm welcome, and I felt so I don't know, I felt so warm and happy. Anyways, it was so nice to meet so many people, and everyone was just kind of preparing for what the weekend was gonna bring, like we're all here for the same reason. So it was really exciting to meet all these people, okay? Like this was just, the convention hasn't even started. We're having like the best time ever. So now we're gonna get into Saturday, the first day of the convention. Let me take a sip of my wine. Okay, Saturday is arriving. Listen, the friends that I had just made, they were like, we're going to get there for like 9 o'clock. Some of them didn't end up getting there till 9:30. I'm like, guys, did you just see the line out to get our badge? I'm like, I need to be there early. I'm like, I need to be there early. I want to get a good spot. Don't want to be all the way at the back. So of course, I'm like, guys, I will be here first. If you see me, come join, like whatever. So that's what ended up happening. I got there early and I got at a great spot in line. And there was a lot of people there. So I'm standing in line again. Now I'm starting to talk to more people that are different from the last group that I just met. People are taking pictures with the sunglasses I brought, which was so fun. I love just going up to people and be like, hey, can you take a picture with these? It was funny anyways to me. So yeah, we're waiting in line at this point. And so this is one of like the best moments that I realized I'm like, this is happening with me and Charlotte. Charlotte was like standing across from me. I think like Meg and Chloe were beside her and we're just talking. Next thing you know, like we're in line getting ready to go into like the opening ceremony. And we look up and like walking just across, like up there, just a little bit away was Danielle Savory walking to the main stage. When I tell you, I literally was in shock. I'm like, oh my God. Like, she's right there and she's waving to us, saying, hey. I look over to Charlotte, my girl, tears coming down her face. We're all like in shock because this is happening. Like, I don't know about you guys, but maybe because I've been a fan for so long, but it's so weird to be watching these people on your television on a screen for so long and now they're literally in front of you. It honestly doesn't feel real. It's like, but anyways, it was just a moment I had to process and I was literally like, this is happening. So then this is like the excitement is happening. We're going in, we're getting our seats, we're waiting, and then it starts the opening ceremony. And the opening ceremony, they put up a video on this huge projector and it's basically like they're going through all the actors and actresses that are there and all the shows. So it was Grey's Anatomy, Station 19, and Lone Star 911. The actors that were there. And so people were going crazy. Like, listen, they played some great songs. They played like Chasing Cars. Did they play How to Save a Life? I'm pretty sure they did. We were going insane. Like the volume in there when your favorite scene came up, when your favorite actor, it was literally, I've never had like energy surrounding me like that. I'm like, oh my God. So that whole video plays. Everyone's so excited. And then the actors start walking out on stage. Guys, this was like one of the craziest moments and I still remember it like fresh in my mind today because it's like the first moment you're seeing these people. I'm like 7 rows back from the stage. They're right in front of me. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. There they are. I'm like, I've never been starstruck before. I've met some like people before. I've never been starstruck like this before. I'm like literally speechless. Okay. So like Danielle and Stefania, of course, people are going crazy for them. Like majority of people were there for Danielle and Stefania. People were going crazy. In my mind, I'm like, where is Miss Jessica Capshaw? Okay, so where I'm sitting in the audience, I'm telling you guys, Jessica walked out. First of all, went crazy, starstruck. I couldn't even believe. First of all, her outfit was slaying. Second of all, I'm like, she's right in front of me. And the way where she was standing on stage was literally right directly in front of me as to where I was sitting. Guys, it was just crazy. Unforgettable moments for sure. Second unforgettable moments, and it happened literally seconds after. So listen, everyone's introducing themselves. All the actors are going in the line. They get to Jessica and she's introducing herself. And listen, Paris, France has no air conditioning in like majority of their buildings. So it was hot in there. There was no air conditioning. I'm like this the whole time, okay? I run hot on a good day anyways. So I'm in there. I'm like, everyone's just quiet. We're listening to her introduce herself. I'm like fanning myself out because I'm hot as hell. Hot as hell. I'm like recording her because I'm like, of course I have to record this. I'm recording her going like this, minding my own business. Next thing you know, like she's looking at me. What did she even say? I'm gonna play the video.
It's very exciting and a little warm right now, huh?
I'm hot. I'm so hot.
So hot.
Yeah, it's so hot. Yeah.
I don't even remember. She said something like, it's hot in here, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm hot. And she's like, so hot, so hot. I literally was like, I'm like, so Jessica Capshaw comes to France, Paris, France, to this convention, and the first fan she interacts with is me? It's me? Oh my God, guys. I was literally like, she just talked to me from the stage. She just got here and she already has noticed that I'm breathing, existing, living in front of her face. Guys, it was crazy. And then Chloe, like, beside me, like, I was literally, like, trying to act normal. Chloe is beside me, like, she just talked to you. I'm like, bitch, I know. Anyways, guys, that was crazy. That was a really crazy moment for me. But let's continue on with our day, okay? So this is what we had lined up for Saturday. I will put it up on the screen because I did make myself a schedule because I needed to know when and where I needed to be. I was not going to be late to anything. I was not going to miss anything for my own lateness. So opening ceremony happened at 10 o'clock. Everything was kind of pushed back a little because it was chaotic. It was a chaotic there was a lot of people, but I think honestly, like I didn't miss anything. I wasn't late to anything, so everything worked out in the end, for me at least. I know people who had like tickets to like 15, 20 extras and they were running from place to place. I'm like, guys, that's super stressful. I could not do that. I'm like, wow. But kudos to everyone who did, because the pictures and all your selfies and videos that came from it, so worth it. So worth the stress. Anyways, my first thing of the day was Jessica's full package, which came with the photo shoots, selfie, autograph, and of course the 30-minute meeting. So first thing that happened was my photo shoots. And I'm going to get to one. I asked you guys to ask me questions about meeting Jessica and the convention in general. The first question that people asked was, what was it like meeting Jessica? And the only thing I have to say is like, amazing. Like, there's literally no other words to, oh, there's a fly. There's a fruit fly. Okay, sorry. It was literally so amazing. Oh my God, so amazing. She is the nicest person ever. Literally, I was kind of nervous because people do say like, don't meet your idols. Like they're not gonna like live up to your expectations and it's gonna be like ruin it for you. So I was kind of nervous about that. But then all nerves went away. The moment I met her, she was so nice. I had gone up. You don't have a lot of time like during these photo shoots, maybe like 30 to 45 seconds. I'd gone up to her, I said my name, I'm like, nice to meet you. I asked if I can give her a hug, which make sure you're always asking consent. Of course, she was hugging everyone. She was so nice. She asked where I was from. I said, I'm from Toronto. I came here all the way from Toronto for you, girl. She was like, you better be making like a vacation out of this. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah. And then I basically said to her, yeah, I'm going to see you a lot this weekend because like I bought a lot of your extras. Like, girl, I'm here for you. So she was like, okay, girl, like I'll see you this weekend. So yeah, I left that photo shoot feeling on top of the world. The fact that I had actually just had a conversation with such a meaningful person in my life. I was literally over the moon, so excited. The adrenaline again is pumping in my body. And I'm a little bit thirsty at this point because it's dry as hell in there. So I go get a drink and I'm ready for my next extra, which is the selfie and the autograph. Now listen, I don't know why this made me so nervous to do this. I think it's because it was more of like she was across the table. I was going to actually talk to her and I'm like, I didn't prepare. This is the only thing I do regret is I didn't prepare what I was going to say. Really, because I didn't have time. Like, it just wasn't on my mind at all as to what was gonna come out of my mouth. So I definitely like introduced myself like 5 times to her because I wanted to make sure that she knew my name. So I introduced myself during the autograph and I asked her, one thing I did know that I was gonna ask her was to write "keep going" on the photograph picture of her because I wanted to get it tattooed on my arm or anywhere on my body. And the reason why I wanted to keep going was because she was on a podcast with Brooke Shields, and the whole podcast was like, what now? And Jessica's answer was keep going for that podcast. So I really loved it and the message that she kind of put behind it. So I wanted her to write keep going for me on so I can get tattooed. And I told her that, and she's like, oh, okay. So I was like, anyways, this is the thing, guys. This is the tea about it. I'm not gonna get it tattooed. And really, I'm just not going to. Honestly, the writing, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, but her writing wasn't the best. But I'm going to let her slide. I'm going to let it pass because the table that she was writing on was one of those like foldable tables. And like as she was writing, the girl beside her was like getting up and she leaned on the table to get up. And the table was really wobbly, so it was kind of not the best, but it's fine. The fact that the message is there for me and she wrote it for me, I'm like still over the moon about it, but I'm not gonna get it put on my body, which she would understand. I know she would, so I'm like, okay, it's fine. But yeah, so then we took our selfie again. So crazy that I was able to get a selfie with her. Like, it's just, I don't know. She was like, oh, make sure you stand in front of the window. We need good lighting. I'm like, girl, yes, you already know we need that lighting. So I asked her actually if she wanted to hold my phone because, girl, I was shaking. I was like, again, the adrenaline's pumping. She was like, no, you hold it. And I'm like, okay, me shaking. But I got a pretty good picture. Like I took a bunch of pictures, and this was maybe like the best one. So I'm so happy that was like able to happen. It was just, I don't know, the whole time I was over the moon. So next, and this is what a lot of the questions you guys asked me were about, so I'm going to talk a lot about this, was probably, what did we talk about? What was it? And this is the next part, is what did we talk about in the 30-minute meeting, okay? So Jessica, over the whole 2 days, she only had one slot for a 30-minute meeting on the Saturday. And there was only allowed 30 people. I think there was only 25 though. There definitely wasn't 30 people. But I was one of those people in there, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm so blessed and excited to freaking be here. So yeah, that was one of the main questions. So I'm going to talk about it, but I won't go into like full detail as to every single question because, again, this also wasn't just my experience. Like, other people paid for this, and I don't know if these people wanted to keep that private. I'm just gonna do like the main highlights. Again, this was a 30-minute conversation. I could do a whole episode podcast on just what we talked about in the 30-minute meeting, but I won't. I'm just gonna go over the highlights and some of the things that stuck out to me. I have a good like, I'm able to like maintain a conversation and retain it. So I did write down a lot of the stuff right after the meeting, like the questions and answers, because you weren't allowed to like do anything while you're in the meeting. You were literally just sitting there and like we were just talking to each other. It was, the way it was set up is there was chairs and it was in a room. First of all, the room was hot. The room was very hot. It was a small room with 25 people, let's say, in a circle. And it was kind of like a therapy session, a group therapy session, and it was great. So basically, I was one of the last people. I don't know why. I was one of the last people to get into the room, and there was only 2 chairs left. So I was sitting. Jessica was like 1 chair away from me. So it was a person, another woman, and then Jessica. So me and Jessica were like, literally, guys, face to face, and this was definitely like the best part of my weekend, just because this meeting, it felt like so personal. Everyone was just like laughing, having fun. It was very personal, and I would literally do the whole weekend again just to experience that again because it was so worth it. And anyways, let's get into it. Let me have one more sip of wine. Okay. So in this meeting, first of all, it was hot. It was toasty in there. Jessica also agreed with this statement. It was hot. Anyways, I had told her, like we had planned a bit before she came in the room because we were all just kind of sitting staring at each other. I'm like, hey, who's going to ask the first question? Thank God my girl Eve, I wasn't asking that first question. Eve, my girl, spoke up. She's like, I will ask. And I love her for that. So Jessica loves that we had that meeting. And then what we got into it. Basically, it was just a question and answer session. 30 minutes of uninterrupted question and answer. So that's what it was. And of course, Eve, my gal, love you for this because she asked the question that everyone wants to know the answer to, which is, I'm just going to be reading, so don't mind me. What would your story be like for Cali and Arizona? Would they be together or not? When I tell you Eve could not get more specific with this question, thank you, Eve. Anyways, Jessica, she was like, why would you ask me that? The first question, are you serious? We're like, yes, girl, like this is what we want to know. Answer the question. So she did. She was like, that is the hardest question. It was so funny. She's like, truly, I don't know. She's like, maybe we got back together, or maybe they broke up, they got back together. And then she's like, maybe they got into a train accident. Guys, this is what I tweeted about, and you guys took it out of proportion. She didn't end the sentence there. Let me continue on. She said maybe they got into a train accident. She's like, we've had a car, we've had a plane. What else did they have? The car and the plane were the major ones. She's like, don't worry, we all live in the end and we get back together, we break up. And I'm going to highlight this. We get back together because it's the roller coaster. Let's have a slow clap because that was an amazing answer. And I would just like to highlight she did end the sentence with back together because it's roller coaster. The train got me for real. When she said train, I was like, okay, it's a little unhinged, but we're gonna allow it. I did tweet that like right after because that was something that like really resonated with me and people went off. People were like, she said they're dead, that they died in the train. I'm like, guys, no, that's not what I said. Anyways, so that was a great first answer and it was funny. Some people tried to like continue and get her to like change her answer to say yes, get her to like say a definite yes. She wasn't doing that. She knows, guys. She knows not to do that. Anyways, the questions continued. She talked a lot about Shonda Rhimes and how great of a storyteller she is and the work that she's done, which is so true. Really talked about positive things about her, which I love. I mean, I love Shonda Rhimes. I definitely want to have an episode like dedicated to just Shonda Rhimes and like all the shows she made. Like that's wild that she had so much success. Anyways, we talked about that for a while. We talked about like her getting her Heelys. It was in the box in a corner of her room. And the funny thing is she was filming the next day. She was like, I just picked these out and now we're going to film the next day. I had asked her, I said, did you learn or did you already know how to use Heelys or did you have to learn? She's like, nope. I had to learn in the dining room kitchen of my house and her husband had to help her. Jessica wanted to actually practice their first time on the Heelys outside on the concrete and it was Christopher who was like, no girl, we need to practice inside because you're about to fall. So it was funny the way she explained it. And she also explained that on the show she had one of the props department guys catch her after the scene. Like there was a scene where she was going down the hall like on her Heelys and then like it was basically they called cut and the guy caught her so she wouldn't fall because she didn't know how to stop. Anyways, that was a funny question and answer that happened. She talked a lot about the amputation. Of course, that was a huge storyline in Arizona's story, and she talked about how important it was to accurately represent this storyline in amputees, as well as the lesbians, the gays. She wanted to accurately represent these characteristics properly, and but she said obviously, and she said this before in interviews. She did say a lot of these answers in interviews, so a lot of it isn't new. But she did say that like. For her, being gay wasn't something that needed to make a huge difference in her character, the way she acted and everything. Jessica said that she grew up with a lot of gay people, so like it wasn't like something new that she had to like get used to. It was just like, okay, my character is gonna be gay, like cool. which I really loved. We also talked about how optimistic Arizona is as a character, and I also was able to tell Jessica how much Arizona impacted me as an individual growing up, especially as a young adolescent. I definitely was someone who, like, mental health stuff. And Arizona, like Jessica said, was such an optimistic character. And she loved, Jessica did say that she loved playing a character who was optimistic about the world and had such a positive outlook on everything. And she loved that Arizona was, she kind of brought the lighter side out of all of the characters when she was in scenes. So I was like, oh my God, love that too. The question I asked Jessica, again, guys, I didn't prepare. If I prepared, I would have prepared a better question. This was just off the top of my head. I wanted to know where Jessica, because I'm not just a Arizona Robbins fan, I'm a Jessica Capshaw fan. I wanted to know where she got her necklace. She wears this like pendant all the time, and I'm like, girl, when, where, how do I get that? Because I need one. She did tell me the necklace was from Anita Co, K-O, Co. Put a picture here, and she's like, girl, it is expensive. She's like, I am friends with Anita Co, so I got the friends and family discount, but it's like ridiculously expensive. And she's like, it's a Leo because I'm a Leo. I'm like, girl, I know you're a Leo, but thanks for the information. And honestly, yeah, I need to have that necklace, even though it's ridiculously expensive. I need it in my life. Anyways, she also commented on also she was like, I did bring the necklace to the convention and I'm like gonna wear it. I'm like, oh my God, love that. So I loved how that was a conversation. She ended up wearing it. So then she commented on how, or people commented, like individuals, not Jessica, commented how they thought Karina was a good match for Arizona, how they brought the lighter side out of Arizona, and Jessica agreed. And she also talked about how she drove home one time from filming the plane crash episode, on that scene, like Arizona has like the blood on her face and she's all like bloody and messy special effects makeup. Jessica was talking about how she drove home one day and she was too lazy to take that all off, so she was driving with it. She was at a stoplight and like people were looking at her like, are you okay? And she was like laughing about it. Anyways, that was something she went on about and was very funny. People also asked if she would want to do a collaboration with Sasha Alexander, and she was like, of course, they are best friends. And I couldn't agree more with that, because imagine Jessica and Sasha in like a movie or a TV episode together. That'd be amazing. Like the new Olsen twin sisters literally would be them. She also talked about, people asked about like funny moments and the bloopers that she had, which apparently she was in a lot of them, and they had to make sure she actually wasn't in too many because she would either laugh, mess up her lines all the time. She talked actually a lot about Arizona and Mark's relationship. It was very interesting how she viewed how they were such like opposites, and then they came to appreciate each other as characters, and basically because of the common ground of Callie, and they wanted the best for her. All these things. People had some really great questions just to see what Jessica's insight was, and I really liked like hearing her opinions on things. She said she loved working with Wallace. She loved working with Eva, who was the character who played Sophia. So she talked a lot about like different things, and yeah, what else did she talk about? Okay, so one of the last questions actually was, what was your favorite calzone scene? And like for those who are obviously Jessica fans, we've heard this answer, so it's fine. But this is where it got funny, and I'm like, I cannot let this be the last answer because that cannot be how we end this. The answer, of course, was the scene where Callie and Arizona are in Callie's apartment and they're just dancing. There's no lines, they're just dancing. Jessica was like, it was so fun, and like they were so happy together. And then Jessica continues to say, and that was the last time that they were sorry, my mouth is dry. She says, this is the last time that they were happy together. Guys, I said, Jessica, you can't say that. Like, stop. We'd get it. We get it. So I'm like, but I can't let her end on that note. So I was like to Jessica, I said, in our minds, though. Cali and Arizona, they're meant for each other forever, and they're living in New York happily. I had to slip that in there because I'm like, I can't have Jessica ending on that note. And so Jessica was like, yes, but that's what I think is interesting. She said, that's what I think is interesting because if being together is great for them, then great. And who knows if they're great? I don't know. And I was like, honestly, true. Like, it's up to the story writers, right? Like, she's so much, she was saying so much how about she's really just a go with the flow type of gal. Like, she's down for any storyline as long as it's meaningful. She's down for it, you know? And someone also asked, because that was the last question, but someone also did ask if she was wanting or willing to come back to Grey's Anatomy. And Jessica did say that she would come back to Grey's Anatomy if it was for the right reasons. Of course, like, she's not going to just come back to come back, if it was the right storyline. And of course, like, I guess people agreed, whatever, she agreed, I don't know, she would come back. And she kind of expanded by talking about Kate Walsh, who plays Addison Montgomery, her comeback to the show. Basically, Addison kind of picked up the female reproductive rights storyline, and she kind of took that, and Jessica was like, that was very meaningful, and it made sense for her to come back to kind of expand on that storyline. So Jessica said if it was kind of like that for Arizona, she would definitely come back, if it meant something like that. So take from that we might see Arizona Robbins on our screen again, which I love that for us. So overall, there was a lot of questions asked, you know, and 30 minutes, there was a lot asked, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience with everyone and Jessica. Then after all that, we did take like a group picture. It looks like a class picture. It's so funny to me. And anyways, that was that. It was 30 minutes of pure uninterrupted Jessica Capshaw, and it was so fun. But that was definitely one of the highlights of my weekend. But you know, the weekend continued on after that, guys, because let me just go back to my notes here. Sorry, there's so much like to document. During this time too, like while I'm in the line, I'm asking people to take pictures with the sunglasses. I'm trading bracelets. So it's really just a fun time with everyone. I'm watching different panels, of course. I loved watching the Jessica and Camilla panels. They're so funny together. Loved watching Stefania and Danielle panels. They are so good as like a paired couple. They have so much chemistry between them, and they definitely know how to like work the crowd, because obviously they have like a lot of fans who are like pro lesbian relationships. So they definitely like are playing into that, and it was just fun to see. I met so many great people who took pictures, and let me see. Yeah, I also saw some panels with Katie Strickland, Katarina, and ER Fightmaster. That was amazing. They're also such a great trio. Katarina Scorsone is literally such an articulate person. It's amazing to witness. People would ask her such insightful questions, and she would answer with like literally such an elegance. I'm like, oh my goodness, this person's very smart. And I don't know, like, I'm not surprised by it, but it's also amazing to just see her put so much depth and consideration into how she portrayed Amelia and the storyline. And I'm just like, this is why I love Amelia. This is why I love Katarina. You know, it's just amazing. So, again, the panels were amazing. I'm so glad that I didn't miss that. Second day, basically I had another photo shoot with Jessica Capshaw. I had a photo shoot with Katarina. I'm meeting these people and they're so nice. Again, it's just short. Like it's not a long time you're meeting them, but I do get like little words in here, like telling Katarina I'm from Toronto, which she would appreciate, and she did. Told KD Strickland that I was also from Toronto, and she was like asking me like the best places to go to eat in Toronto, and I'm like frozen on the spot. I'm like, girl, I don't know. And they were so nice. They were complimenting like my makeup and my outfit, which I was literally like, I'm about to melt on the floor right now. Thank you very much. And yeah, it was really amazing. The second day, I'm trying to pull this up. I'm sorry for the delay. So I had a duo with Jessica and Stefania, and that was literally such a crazy moment, because I'm like, oh my God, these are two women that are like literally I'm starstruck again right now. Both of them together, they're so tall and gorgeous. I'm like, oh my god. I told both of them, I'm like, you guys have gotten me through studying for nursing school. Like, I watched Grey's, your guys' episodes, and I would just study. They're like, oh my god, thank you. They're so freaking nice, guys. And yeah, so it was just an amazing time, to be honest. Everyone was so funny too. I don't know why. Like, on the panels, like, I was laughing the whole time. There was also a party on the first night, but I did not go to that. But I wish I did, because I don't know, it looked like a great time. And now, like, it's just, I see back, I'm like, wow, I wish I was able to witness the things that happened at that party. But it's fine. It was really expensive, so I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. But guys, overall, like, I would say the main part of my weekend was on day one, when I had my like the full pack with Jessica, because everything else was just photo shoots, or really that's it, and those last really like 30 seconds. So like, I didn't get to say much, but you're still meeting them and you're getting a picture, which I'll put some of the pictures here. Not all of them, like, I feel like I look great in. But you know what? It's fine. The fact is that I had an amazing freaking time. I would do it all again, simply for the people that I met. That was honestly, of course, I loved meeting the actors and actresses, but the people and community that I met was definitely amazing. Like, I could just start naming names of people that I've met, but like, I just don't want to miss anyone. But everyone that I interacted with, I had literally such a meaningful conversation with. They would tell me about their lives, where they came from, their interests, and it was so fun. I would definitely do it again. And who knows, I probably will. Because if we're taking anything about this podcast, it's honestly just do what you love, to be honest. Like, do what makes you happy, because in the end, you will not regret it. Like I said, based on the sweater, I have loved Grey's Anatomy since I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have been a part of the Grey's Anatomy fandom for so long, and I knew that this was going to be like a happy experience for me. Like, I was going into it with full positive thoughts, and it was so worth it. Even though it costs money and stuff, if it makes you happy, like, you won't regret it. And I definitely did not regret anything from this weekend. Also, guys, post-con depression, didn't know this was a term. My new friends had to tell me it because they had gone to conventions. Post-con depression is a thing, and that was actually a question on my app. Someone said, did you get post-con depression? Yes, I did. I was so sad when I came back home to Canada. I was like, I'm never going to feel that happy ever again. It's not true. Obviously, I was being very dramatic. But guys, like, the adrenaline, the whole weekend, and just the excitement of all of that happening, you felt on top of the world. And now you're back home to, like, life. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to be here. So anyways, post-con depression is a thing. I definitely had it. And then I'm going to get into the last question that someone asked. Hold on, let me go back to it. Someone said, would you say the convention itself was well planned or more unorganized? And honestly, I am not someone who could really answer this well, simply because this convention was the first and only convention I've ever been to, so I have nothing to compare it to. However, based on my experience, I would say it was organized. Like I said, again, I didn't have that many extras as other people did, but from what my experience was, I wasn't late to anything. I didn't miss anything. Was it crowded and was it chaotic the first day, especially because there was just so many people? Yes, it was hard. And as the organizers, it's hard to organize like all those people. Like, people are screaming on top of each other at this point, and it's like you're trying to get them to line up, go to this area, go to this area. So that definitely like is understandably chaotic. I know people ask this question specifically because on the second day, I believe Katarina's autographs and selfies, I'm not sure, but I definitely know her autographs were canceled, and that's because I think she had been feeling sick or things, I don't even really know, but it didn't affect me because I didn't have an autograph, so I wasn't really paying attention, but people were really upset that this extra was canceled because, again, you pay for it, you're waiting in line, and it just gets canceled, and people were really upset by that. Doesn't make it more disorganized, I guess. If, like, I have nothing to compare it to, but for myself personally, I didn't find it like unbearable. You know, I was able to deal. I was able to wait in line. Nothing for me was interrupted, which means it was a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nothing bad happens, we're chilling. So for me, nothing bad happened. I know for other people they did get upset that they missed that autograph, which, I mean, is very understandable. And I know a lot of the cast members actually did have to stay back later than their planned scheduled time because things weren't, I guess, planned properly. People were missing lunch. People were staying back hours behind to do autographs and like pictures. Like, that was more Stefania and Danielle because, again, a lot of people went for them, which is so understandable, but I guess it was really chaotic for them. So, but again, I didn't have any autographs with Danielle or Stefania, so I wouldn't have known that aspect of it. So maybe ask someone else about that question, because for me, I was chilling with my J-Cap stuff and my Katarina stuff. I was chilling, and my was like, I was okay. So, but overall, my experience was definitely a 10 out of 10. I would 100% do it again. And I really want to be able to, I feel like now that it's over and I'm more of a presence, I guess, on Twitter, I interact with a lot more people. I'm so excited to like meet more people and to trade more bracelets. I loved that part. Trading bracelets is definitely something I would do again, for sure, for sure. So yeah, that was my experience, guys. And that's basically the end of this first podcast. I know I went into a lot of meeting Jessica Capshaw, but I don't see a problem with that. I don't know if you do, but anyways, guys, I'm so happy. If you're still here, first and foremost, if you are still listening right now, thank you so much. And I want to be your best friend, because for someone who can listen to me talk and ramble and trip over my words for almost an hour, I respect you. And please message me so we can be friends. If you have any more questions about me meeting Jessica or Camilla or Katie or Katarina, please let me know. I would love to answer them. If you want me to talk about any other topic, again, I would love to. So just let me know in the comments or anything. Yeah, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions too of your own experiences at the First Responders Reunion. Yeah, let me know. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna hopefully post like once a week, because now, again, I have the time to do so. So please stick with me through this, and thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your day. Drink water, hydrate yourself, put sunscreen on, and get a good night's sleep. Okay? Bye, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.